part, excuse me, that's a little bit tricky, which is very much up to what you feel comfortable using. We're going to start sealing our ends of the ribbon, and you can use either lighters, or some people even use matches. I learned along the way to use a wood burning tool, and this is extremely hot. You will need to go to the hospital if you get burnt pretty bad with this. I've gotten burnt pretty bad, not that extent, but it does hurt. So you really, really want to be careful what you use and not have this on if small children are around. I have this ceramic thing that I put it in so that I just, as I'm using it, I don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, I need to hang it on something properly, or if I knock it off or trip on the wire or something go flying. So I have this really thick one that I just kind of dip it. I just kind of drop it in there, and it won't burn. It won't do anything to it, of course. And mine has the little on and off switch, so I just try to make sure I always have that done. And either way, as a precaution, I just always unlock it. I am just so scared of it. It has fallen in crazy places and made holes and burns and things I have. So anyhow, if you're going to use this, totally at your own risk, totally up to you if you want to do it. Otherwise, a lighter works great. It's just a little bit more time consuming, and it hurts your thumbs a little bit after a while. But this is definitely the fastest and the way to go, and I'll show you how I'm going to use it and how I do my sealing. Put it together, and we're going to start gluing it, but first we're going to lay it out the way it's meant to be. So first we're going to choose, what I like to start is choose 2 of the 7/8 spikes and put those as the base. So first I'm going to choose something in the red tone and then something in the pink. Now this one is going to be the one that's going to go across, so I'm kind of trying to see which ones I'm going to start off with going this way. So I like to do my X first, and then I do the horizontal one after I choose the 2 spikes that are going to go across. So let's do, I want this one to show off, so I probably want this one to the top. The way I do it, I kind of choose my favorites to my least favorites. So the least favorite ones I'll kind of put towards the bottom because they're not going to show as much as the ones are towards the top. So what I'm going to do probably is start off with a pink one and then a red one. So this one with the polka dots probably I'll do, and then let's see, let's try this one going across, and then I'm gonna put this one this way because there's more pink here, and this one has less red, or no red I should say. This one's got some white. Let's put this one here, and then I'll put another pink here. Actually, I'm gonna want my hearts this way, so I'm gonna put those there. And then this one is a sequined, and actually the spike, I like it when it goes that way, and then this is facing downward. And then my horizontal one I'm gonna have this way, but you can put it either this way with the angles going that way, or however you like. I prefer it this way. So this is how my spikes are gonna be stacked. Then the ones that are gonna go on top are the 3 layers, which is at the bottom of the spikes is gonna go, this is the base bow, that's gonna go at the very bottom. We're gonna do that one last. But the one that's gonna be the top layer is this one. And that's the pinwheel style that we did. That's the first one, it's gonna go like that. The second one is going to be a pink, the pink one that's textured, and it has this sort of lacy sparkle. It's kind of like a mesh. And then the top one is going to be this red. And then it's going to look kind of like this. And they're all going to be sitting on this one right here. But first, we gotta glue all this down. So I just wanted to show the initial design. So what I like to do is when I look at it and I design it, then I kind of take all the layers and then I just flip it over. And then that's the order I remember that I wanted to keep it. And then I start gluing it down. So first I'm going to put this one, and then I'm going to start gluing them all down. Gluing everything else together on top, this is the stopping point I like to get to. So once I've glued all of these bottom layers like this, I'm gonna put here that tool that I was talking about or showing earlier with the little dots. Now I like to use this instead of just regular tool because it's got a pattern and it's got a little texture to it, and it ends up standing out a lot prettier once it's in there. So for a 7-inch, I'm not sure how I came up with this measurement, but after doing it so many times, I have measured this out to be about 14 inches. So what you're gonna do is cut this into 14 inches. So which I've already done. And that's this right here. So this is 14 inches. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to just kind of crinkle it up like this and find the middle point And if you do it on the table, of course, it's gonna come out a lot better. I was trying to do it this way, but if you do it this way, gathering it, it's gonna get that accordion effect, which is what I want. And then I'm gonna find sort of the middle part. So see, it's kind of got that accordion fold, but then it's got a pretty fan out. So what I'm gonna do is I just kind of look for the middle point, and then I'm gonna take the clamp or the gator bite, and I'm gonna put it right in the middle, and just kind of right here. And as you can see, it looks like it's off-centered, so I'm just gonna kind of pull it through this way, and I'm gonna push this down, but kind of spread it, because if you have it in a big ball, so if you bundle this down too much and make it like a big chunk like this, when you tie it off, it's going to look like that. It's not going to have that nice fanned out look. So while you have it pinned inside the gator bite, you're going to want to make sure that it's spread out this way, so then it kind of creates that fanned out look. So then when I clamp it down and pull it all together, it's going to fan out, if that makes sense. I hope so. You'll see when it's put down and kind of tied together. So this is how it kind of is going to look for now. And then, excuse me, I keep clearing my throat. The allergies are just ridiculous here, and I don't want to take so much allergy medicine, so I just kind of deal with it. Let's see. Now right here, same technique as if I was making a regular bow, because I want to tie it off in the same fashion. So I'm making space right here to stick the wire. Actually, yeah, I'm making it right here. There it goes. And it's coming around right here. We're going to place it down. And see, as I'm going to start bringing it together, you see that fan that's being created instead of just a blob. So I'm going to get the pliers, the wire, spinner this way, and here we go. So when I tie, you see that it's creating that little burst look instead of that bundled look. But that's all about when you spread it on there, when you kind of spread out the tool up or down. And so let me just trim this right there, and see, now it's got that real pretty kind of, it almost looks like a little puff, and it ends up standing out more. So now again, we have that wire thing. We want to push it down so it won't be sticking up. And see, we're gonna have right here the opening, so that when we lay it on there and we're tying off, there's still that space that we can do that, where it's not gonna do this bit. Okay, so this is gonna be on top of this, as so. And it's gonna kind of go like this. And then I'm going to try and see what else I can stick in there that we can embellish. And from here, it is really whatever you want to do. So I'm going to show you how to put it all together, but then afterwards we're going to begin to embellish. So right now, this is going to be the gluing down and tying off of everything now that we have stacked it together. So now that our glue gun is nice and warm, we're going to go ahead and start gluing it down. So now when I'm gluing this, I'm going to try and keep in mind what my center area is, and that usually is where the two spikes right here meet. Now you're going to know what the middle is when you have 3 spikes going in this direction, and then you have the other 3 going this way. So this is going to be kind of your guide right here, because all this is going to be where at the end you're going to end up tying right down the middle. So you want to use that as your guide right here. And we're going to go ahead and put our tulle puff that we made earlier. We're going to place it right here. Okay. So I put a little bit too much glue, but that's okay. More the better. Okay. So I'm going to hold that down there for just a little bit. It's not a super long process that I have to hold it down because I'm going to tie it all together in a bit. So now I'm going to get, now I'm not going to overpower it and put all this other stuff in it because it already has the tulle going on, and this has a lot of sparkle to it. And it might not be as vivid and as shown on the camera, but it has a lot of sparkle to it. So if I were to stick anything else out, it might overdo it. But I am planning on embellishing it some more. So this is usually the part where if I'm going to put any kind of mesh tubing, just the little thin, or some organza ribbon, anything like that is usually where I kind of do it at this step, because being that if it's placed on top of the tulle layer that's already poofy like this, it kind of makes the other ones stand out, and I kind of like that sticking up look and not so much the slick push down look. So this is from the 3 that we made earlier. This is the first one that's going to go down, and this is the one that we made with the larger of the 2 templates that we used. So right here, like I mentioned, this is going to be our middle, and we kind of want to keep it in mind where it is, because that's going to be where the area is it's going to be tied through. So here we go. Tails up and down on this, and I'm just going to push it down for a bit. And like I said, it doesn't have to be held here a super long time, because I'm going to then put the other areas, and I'm in the meantime put some more glue on this because I think it's going to run out. Well, I'm shooting this. Okay, and I love my glue gun. It has been with me a long time. I even replaced it with the exact same one, but I believe there is a new one out there. Everybody's using a Ryobi. I was just iffy if it's too heavy. If y'all can leave me in the comments, anybody who is currently using it, and if you're using it during your bow making, because I'm just wondering if it's heavy. Is it lightweight, heavy? I don't know. Especially for like me, I have like carpal tunnel. So okay, so now that's the second one, and then we're gonna do the top one, and that's gonna be our red right here, and it's gonna be like a ruffle ribbon. So here we go. Let's glue it down, put a decent amount, push her down, hold it down for a little bit. See all this is coming together. You start seeing, once you lay it out, you start seeing the red, the pink, the white, and then it pops out here with the white that's in these colors over here. So now we have the bow, and we're going to start tying it off. So for tie off, I've recently been using this organza ribbon. It's really thin. It's, I don't even know, it's smaller than the 3/8, but anyway, I got sent this in the mail, and I just started using it instead, and then lining my clips. Before, I used to put my clip and I used to tie around and around, but using a 3/8 grosgrain. But with this, I've noticed that since it's more flexible and it pinches, you know, it's doing the job of tying it more securely than what I feel a thread does or anything like that. But then it also, since it's so thin, it allows the layers to kind of pop out more. So if it makes sense, let me kind of show you. Right here, I'm going to start from the back. So let's see, where is my middle point, like I said. Okay, so from the back, if you see the tails down this way, and right here, my 2 main spikes. So I'm gonna go ahead and find the middle. So push, what I like to do is I push this one, this tail this way, this tail this way, this tail this way, until I find my middle. And I forgot which ones were the 3 that were out this way. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. There you are. Okay. So I'm gonna take the organza, and if I could remember right here, the middle one with the hearts is the one right here in between the hearts and this sequin one. So when I come down here, I'm gonna spread those out again. Spread the tulle this way. It's tough, but worth it. Bringing it down here, and I remember I'm holding the tulle, the organza strip right here with my finger in the back while I'm spinning it around over here. So now that I'm tying it off right here, I'm going through the middle. Got that tulle out of the way. And looking for that heart and sequin ribbon, which is right here. Now I know that when I flip those, as long as I pull down through the rest of the layers, it's gonna meet. So right there. There we go. Takes a while to find, but there's our center coming around. And I like to go around twice just to make it extra secure. I'm gonna find where we went down the middle again. It's easier the second time around. Right here, find it. Push that tulle out again. Push your layers out again of your spikes this way, this way, this way. Bring it around, flip, find that. There we go, right at the bottom. And at this point, I like to tie it, but what I do is I kind of tug on it here, then that piece I had dangling over here just kind of comes up right here. And I'm going to tie it just once because I'm going to kind of maneuver the layers, because see how they, I mean, this is not my finished bow, so I have to pull the different ribbons out and shape them. So the easiest way that I find is that if I tighten it really tight here where the original, when I tie off, is going to go, kind of just hold it here in place. I perk the loops. I face them forward right here, so while I keep my thumb from loosening, so I want to keep it tight. So I start twisting out and tugging them right here. So there is more spikes right there. The tulle is going to be pulled out right here. Keeping this here. All I'm doing is fluffing it out and perking it up. And see the bottom here, just pull out the layers as well. And I keep saying layers, but you know what I mean. It's the ribbons. Okay, so she looks good. She looks nice and perked. And right here is our tulle. Now I feel like the tulle is sticking out more that way, so that's okay. What I do is just kind of pull it a little bit, evens it out. Now right here, please excuse my son. He is downstairs playing games, does not understand when mommy says she's filming. Okay, now for the last part, I'm gonna go ahead and tie it off for the last time. So that initial tie was just to kind of hold it in place and tighten it. But now since I'm done with this, I want to go ahead and tie it another time. And that's gonna keep it right there in place. So now I have the bow. I'm going to cut this off actually, and it's best with the fabric scissors, or else you'll be cutting there for a while if you have regular. I'm trying to not cut my actual ribbon. There we go. Okay, we're gonna put this tie off somewhere else, and here we go. Now at this point, I like to do my clip at the end, and so for right now I want to play with this some more and I want to embellish it some more. So for right now it is coming along, but I really want to add, the reason I'm putting more of a little bit more accentuate of the sparkles here is because I'm thinking I'm going to kind of balance it out and add something over here on this side to kind of make it stand out more. So the embellishing is my favorite part. Here is right now our bow, and we're perking it up, and then I'm going to go ahead and decorate it. So I found right here some of this red tubing that I'm going to use, and I'm going to make a little bit of a bow right here on the side, and it's going to help balance this part because this is kind of how we hide also our mistakes, because it turns out that this is a little bit late in the process for me to pull out that way. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I was going to balance it, and I'm going to put a bow here made out of this tubing. So first I'm going to get it, and it's just going to be something very basic. I'm just getting the two ends, I'm going to twist them, and right here is going to be just a regular little bow. And so I'm going to cut it right here, just enough to where it's got some tails. I like for it to stick out, and I'm going to go ahead and just kind of twist it there. And I can either tie it within the same meshing, or I can get an actual piece of something to tie it with, but for now I am just going to do it this way, and I will push my tails downward. And so see right here, I'm going to be gluing it onto the bow so it's not going to open up or ravel. Okay, so I like to place it right behind the tulle, where it's sitting behind the ribbons here. So that way it's kind of hidden, but it's also going to make the tulle stick up more. So I'm generous with this glue area, no one sees it. And right here I'm going to place it. I'm going to let these layers go so that I don't burn my fingers like I already did. And this tulle layer right here and the back layers, I'm just going to kind of push them down, hold them in place like this. And then we're going to fix all this, no worries. It's a little bit warm back here. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of hold it there for a little while. La 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 la. Okay, I think that's good. So now she's got some little tails sticking out here. You know, it looks a little bit loose to me still. I'm gonna hold it down a little bit longer. And I think I might have to trim this just a little bit. I don't mind this bottom one sticking out, but I've got some more plans for this. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim that a little. And then I'm gonna trim this one. Then I'm just gonna kind of push this downward. Oh no, let's see. Let's add a little bit more glue because I don't think I held it long enough. It actually doesn't do that. So let's hold it down some more. Pinch it about right there. Now I just kind of push it down with the ribbon on top, especially if it's grosgrain, because if it was the tulle, the glue would just go right through and burn my fingers. So I try to push it down within ribbon itself where if it sticks to it, the glue, it's not a big deal because it's not going to show. And it also adds a little more security to it. Okay, so now I can feel it that it's hardened, and before I didn't leave it long enough. So you really want to hold it in place so that this tubing won't go everywhere, because it is a little bit hard to control sometimes. Okay, so here we go. Starting to look like a little pretty girl. Okay, now I made this bow die cut with the scissors, and so now what I'm going to do is I want to put it right in the middle. However, as I'm noticing right now, I want to cover up a little bit more of this section that's right here where I did my tie off. So when I place this here, I think that I may want to put something right in the center of it that might be a little bit larger. So I have these little centers right here, and I think that if I place this right here, this point is going to cover that, and then if I want to add anything else, I can add that also. But I think that this is actually going to be okay. And but I really think I like the way it looks just with the bow, because I feel like this might take away from that sparkle. So I may just add this one, and then maybe add other little things around it, like maybe some sequins, maybe some crystals, something to make that kind of, it's like a rose gold, to make that pop. So it's kind of bringing together all the pinks and the reds, the little rosy tones. So let me see if I'm going to go ahead and stick this on there, and this is going to be at the very, very top. So I'm going to be generous with the glue, and I'm going to kind of lather up those tails in the back, because those, if they're not stuck down properly, they may just not, they may not hold as well. So I'm going to push this down right here. As you can see, it's starting to look so pretty, and we're going to make it sparkle a little bit more, and then we'll add our clip and we will be done. Okay, so I have already lined my clip. I'm pretty sure by the time you got to my video, you've already learned this. So I'm going to go ahead and put my glue on the back of it, and I'm going to be generous with it because I have had to fix so many people's bows where people literally just put a dab of it, just a little dot, and that's not going to stay. So I try to put it going across the whole clip. And this part, you really do want to hold it down for a while, because this is going to hold your whole thing together. So being that, especially since it's heavy, but not ridiculous heavy, right? But we're going to push it down and hold it down as long as possible. And I went ahead and decided that I'm going to go ahead and kind of stop with the glitz and just maybe accent it with some of these crystals that are in the rose gold tone, and so that's good enough for holding it down. Okay, so see, now that I added that, like I mentioned, it really helped balance with this side over here, so it really looks, you know, a lot better. And right here, I'm going to go ahead and add all the different little crystals. So I actually bought a brand new tool, and it's called a pickup artist. It's to pick up these little hot back crystals. So I've never used it before, but you know, I'm gonna go ahead and try it now because the other one I had was just not working. So I'm gonna give it a go here. This actually is to scoop them up, the little crystals or rhinestones, whatever you're working with, and then this is the little wax tip that lifts them up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, for now, I'm going to put dots of hot glue from the glue gun, so that way it can seal faster. I usually like to use something like the Gem Tack or that's actually the best one that I like to use when I've used it on boots when I actually redid my boots. I mean, that's leather, so it worked really well. So my crystals are kind of going everywhere, so let me go ahead and I'm gonna pick some up right here. Let me just see which one is wanting to come with me, and there's two that want to go. So right there that I have it, I'm just gonna put a simple little dot, just a tiny little dot, and make sure that glue doesn't stick to the rest of it. And here we go, that's one right there. I'm just gonna kind of place it there, and I'm not gonna use this because if you touch this a lot, it is not going to work to lift up those crystals anymore. I'm telling you from experience, where I was doing my huge Audrey Hepburn embellishing project, which I'm gonna post details on that later. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and pick up another crystal and see where else I can place this little cute crystal. It's gonna make this stand out more. So when I do it here, I like to do it to the opposite side as well. See, it's a little bit too much glue that I don't want. So this is when you take one for the team and you burn yourself a little for the sake of beauty. Because like I tell my daughter, beauty is pain. And in crafting, it's no different. Okay, so I'm just being picky here. I don't want any glue to show. So some people it's okay, but for me, no, I don't want this to show. So I can pick at this a little bit more, or I can just kind of leave it so that I can show you. So right now, all I did was add 2, and it already gives it a little extra sparkle. So it stands out a lot more. And like I said, these are a little bit in the red and the rose gold tone. It stands out a lot more when you add them to sections that have solid in them. So if I put, and I like to kind of put them sporadically. I don't want it to look too uniform. So it's kind of just tossed there, and then instead of putting it right in the middle or right here, you know, I like to put it off to the side where it kind of looks like it is, I mean, kind of sprinkled on, where it's not so much of a placed, purposely placed crystal. So let me get another one. And like I said, I want to put that one towards the top, like it's kind of going away from the ribbon. And let's see, these do not want to come with me today. Here we go. I mean, the tool's good, it's working. Okay, so I'm going to put just a little simple dot right there, right there, right there. And I just swivel it as much as possible. Now, if we have this excess glue, it will come off. So just as long as you get it right when it's dangling, because then if you leave it too long, it will dry hard. Okay, so there's another one. And then I think I want to add one more at this end. So let me see if I do the glue first, hopefully I can pick up that crystal fast enough before it dries. Because that's why I've been picking up the crystal first. Yay! First try. Okay. Now we're gonna push it down. And there we go. I don't think I want to add more. I think I like her just the way she is. So let's see, here she is. So now you have your pretty Valentine's bow.